waiting to replace the clutch because I didn't feel like doing things twice. And those parts that I've been hanging on to are the VSC Performance engine mounts, transmission mount, and pitch stop mount. Now, all three of these I got in the anodized blue finish, and they look fantastic. And if you want to see more on how they look, there's a great video that I will link in the description below that goes through that. I believe it's MP Gymkhana, but doesn't show those parts on the car, and I kind of can't do that anyways. There's a few photos that I took, but I didn't really want to focus on that because I realized focusing on how these parts look on your car is kind of a moot point, since you'll probably never see them again once they're on it. If you're purchasing parts and just clicking on things on the internet because you want to open your engine bay at a car show and have it look cool, these aren't going to do it for you. These aren't going to be worth the trouble for the install, and they are not going to be worth the noise, vibration, and harshness. So I'm going to pull over here and do a start just from 0. Not like a pull or anything, just like regular driving. And you can hear a little bit of extra noise and such from things, but it's really not bad. And I was expecting it to be worse. And in fact, when I first started up the car, it was worse, and I was really worried that I had ruined my car. So, over the last 500 miles that I've been breaking in the clutch, I've also been feeling out these parts. Again, engine mounts, transmission mount, pitch stop mount, all together. I've been told it's not a good idea to do just one or two of these mounts. They are designed to work together, and by only adding one or two of them, by making those parts more rigid and keeping the stock, squishy rubber mounts that are already in your car, you can actually increase noise, vibration, and harshness, or in the case of leaving out the transmission mount, it'll actually create a little more wag. So there's a reason that Vermont Sports Car has these bundled together on their shop, where you can get all three and save yourself $60, because it really is a better idea to get all three or skip all three, because the benefits from one don't work as well if you don't have the others. They do work better together, and I'm definitely feeling that. On the one hand, on startup, you do hear more starter noise through the firewall, and that's because your pitch stop is pretty solid and it's right next to the starter on the transmission case. So yeah, you're going to hear that more inside the car. On startup, the seats will vibrate a little bit more, especially from a cold start. You'll get a little bit more of that engine noise coming in as well, because those mounts are more solid. There is a polyurethane bushing in most of this stuff that massages a little bit of that sound out, but not a ton. And then the transmission mount really just translates a little bit more differential whine and just noise from the transmission, especially when you're changing gears. But to me, that's almost more satisfying to hear that it's a more analog connected feel that you get from it. And I've really, really enjoyed it. I was afraid that the increase in noise, vibration, and harshness, or NVH as the auto industry likes to acronymize. I think I just made a word. Anyway, there is more noise and vibration and harshness in the car. There should be. You've replaced rubber bushings that were designed to massage that out with more rigid mounts. Now, the plus side performance-wise of these is you have a more connected driveline with way less play, so it can deliver power more efficiently. But you're really getting picky if you feel like, oh man, I'm losing power because of my engine mounts. Unless you're in a full-on race car, you're probably not going to notice a performance increase. You will notice more from a K&N cold air intake in your stock airbox than you will performance increase from the actual mounts that are in the car. What you will notice instead that an enthusiast will be happy with, but a regular daily driver that wants comfort will not, is that more connected analog feel, because while you're giving up some of your cabin comfort and quietness, you are achieving more feel through the car, more of a positive feel, a more connected driving experience. And to me, the STI was already great at that. It was one of the last cars you could buy with hydraulic power steering, all the pops and bangs and all the pomp and circumstance of this car. It just has so much character that you really couldn't get in a new car in 2021 when these cars were finally discontinued. And if you bought your car for that reason, then doing this upgrade will make you enjoy it even more. So what if there's a little more vibration in the seat? You've already probably got a catback exhaust that's rattling your passengers' ears to shreds. My exhaust isn't so bad. I know there's others that are definitely louder. I specifically chose this exhaust so it doesn't have as much cabin drone and everything. And you could add Dynamat or other sound deadening materials to the car to decrease some of the noise in the car. But the vibrations and such, you're not going to save a whole lot from that. You're going to get the little bit of a vibration through the steering wheel. You're going to get those little clunks and everything through your transmission case. But to me, those are all satisfying sounds and feelings. So I've really enjoyed having them on the car for the 500-mile break-in period that I've been observing for my clutch. And when I lay into it, it's a whole ton of fun. Enjoy my car to pieces, but I feel like I get more out of it and I feel more connected with it because of these parts on here. I was really worried that it would ruin my car because I'd heard horror stories from people upgrading engine mounts and such of it just being a completely unlivable experience for a daily driver. And I do still drive this car regularly on the road. I do give people rides, give my son rides to daycare in the mornings, and just driving regularly around town. And really the only stuff I notice it with is, again, those low-speed maneuvers. So if you're doing a lot of in-town driving, if you're doing a lot of parking lots, a lot of piddly little things, then these will not, the cons of those feelings you'll get that are a little overbearing at lower speeds are not going to outweigh the more connected general driving experience that you get with it. So weigh your options and be smart about what you do with your car. These install incredibly easily. It should come as no surprise because Vermont Sports Cars products all kind of have that OEM plus feeling anyways. While these aren't the easiest to install because of what you have to do to get them in, they do go in like a glove once you get to them. The pitch stop is underneath the intercooler. Your engine mount's obviously underneath the engine. Transmission mount is probably the easiest one to do. You just got to prop up the transmission and take off that cradle. But yeah, I'm super happy with these. I'm glad I listened to my friend when he said that I should go for them, and I'm so glad to finally have him on the car. I've got more reviews, so check them out in the links there. If you got questions on these products, ask away. Be happy to answer. And in the meantime, we'll have some more fun and see you on the next one.